I would have lived my life very differently if I'd known these life lessons sooner. After more than 2 years of searching, I've compiled 365 lessons in one place, so you can use them in time to live a happy, regret-free life. Turn knowledge into advantage. If the path before you is clear, you're probably on someone else's. Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. Life is not a matter of holding good cards, but of playing a poor hand well. Be careful who you call your friends. I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. Beware of little expenses. A small leak will sink a great ship. Whatever is begun in anger ends in shame. He who laughs at himself never runs out of things to laugh at. Decision-making like coffee needs a cooling process. People are great at keeping secrets they don't know. The only real mistake is the one from which we learn nothing. Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant. If you want to get rich, think of saving as earning. Be yourself, everyone else is already taken. Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. Great results can be achieved with small forces. The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. Everyone falls down. Getting back up is how you learn how to walk. Be silent, or let thy words be worth more than silence. Spend your money on the things money can buy. Spend your time on the things money can't buy. A busy man is seldom visited by idle friends. No flies fly to a boiling pot. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Thousands of candles can be lit from a single candle, and its life will not get any shorter. Happiness doesn't diminish when you share it. People never lie so much as before an election, during a war, or after a hunt. Those who have a way to live can bear with almost anyhow. Circumstances make man, not man circumstances. There are 2 wolves fighting inside all of us. The first one is evil. The second one is good. Which wolf will win? The one you feed. A goal is a dream with a deadline. Write your sad times in the sand. Write your good times in stone. Leave nothing for tomorrow which can be done today. Love your neighbor as yourself. Don't judge your greatness by your shadow at sunset. Never interrupt your enemy when he is making a mistake. A friend to all is a friend to none. Better a broken promise than none at all. Both optimists and pessimists contribute to society. The optimist invents the airplane, the pessimist the parachute. A woman's guess is much more accurate than a man's certainty. Ignorance is the root and stem of every evil. He who is not satisfied with a little is satisfied with nothing. A bad friend is like a shadow on a sunny day. Run you won't run away on a cloudy day, look for it. You won't find it. Understanding a question is half an answer. What we know is a drop, what we don't know is an ocean. Be the change that you wish to see in the world. Perfection is achieved not when there is nothing more to add, but when there is nothing left to take away. Simplicity is the result of maturity. Never ruin an apology with an excuse. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. It always seems impossible until it's done. How many things would you attempt if you knew you could not fail? To get married means to have your rights and double your responsibilities. That which does not kill us makes us stronger. Fear doesn't exist anywhere except in the mind. You can't wait for inspiration. You have to go after it with a club. The life of the dead is set in the memory of the living. Procrastination is the thief of time, color it. A leader is a dealer in hope. If you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it yourself. We are not rich by what we possess, but by what we can do without. A friendship founded on business is better than a business founded on a friendship. As a child, I prayed to God for a bicycle. Then I realized that God works differently. I stole my bike and prayed for forgiveness. There are 1,000 lessons in defeat, but only one in victory. When anger rises, think of the consequences. Whatever advice you give, be brief. One fate hands you lemons, make lemonade. Judge a man by his questions rather than by his answers. Your ambition is handicapped by laziness. The noblest work of God, man who founded out man. Be correct with everyone, sociable with many. Close to the elect, friend to the few. When you were born, you cried, and the world rejoiced. Live your life so that, when you die, the world cries and you rejoice. One day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. Where your fear is, there is your task. Those who are hardest to love need it the most. If you can dream it, you can do it. Student is not a container you have to fill, but a torch you have to light up. Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak out and remove all doubt. Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Time stays long enough for anyone who will use it. Thinking is the hardest work there is, which is probably the reason why so few engage in it. Do what you can with what you have where you are. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. The liar's punishment is not in the least that he is not believed, but that he cannot believe anyone else. Experience is the teacher of all things. An abnormal reaction to an abnormal situation is normal behavior. The most important thing we learn at school is the fact that the most important things can't be learned at school. One looking into a puddle sees dirt in it, the other stars reflected in it. A happy marriage is a long conversation, which always seems too short. Any person capable of angering you becomes your master. He can anger you only when you permit yourself to be disturbed by him. There is nothing impossible to him who will try. Time passes slowly when you follow it. It senses being followed. Thinking that someone else can make you happy or unhappy is ridiculous. Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. the oldest, shortest words. Yes and no are those which require the most thought. Courage is not having the strength to go on. It is going on when you don't have the strength. Words can be like X-rays if you use them properly. They'll go through anything you read and you're pierced. Through discipline comes freedom. Of all the liars in the world, sometimes the worst are our own fears. Everyone sees what you appear to be. If you experience what you really are, there are only 3 events in a man's life: birth, life, and death. He is not conscious of being born. He dies in pain, and he forgets to live. A man who dares to waste 1 hour of time has not discovered the value of life. Be kind for everyone you meet is fighting a harder battle. If your hate could be turned into electricity, it would light up the whole world. Do not spoil what you have by desiring what you have not. Remember that what you now have was once among the things you only hope for. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. Tact is the knack of making a point without making an enemy. To put everything in balance is good. To put everything in harmony is better. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. Only a fool learns from his own mistakes. The wise man learns from the mistakes of others. A goal without a plan is just a wish. The future comes slowly. The present flies and the past stands still forever. The highest activity a human being can attain is learning for understanding, because to understand is to be free. Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. Appear weak when you are strong, strong when you are weak. Time is money. If you wish to forget anything on the spot, make a note that this thing is to be remembered. Everyone at some time or another sits down to a banquet of consequences. He suffers more than necessary, who suffers before it is necessary. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Fear of death increases in exact proportion to increase in wealth. Whoever violated trust once loses it forever. Life did not intend to make us perfect. Whoever is perfect belongs in a museum. reason why worry kills more people than work is that more people worry than work. Everything that happens before death is what counts. It is better to offer no excuse than a bad one. Men always want to be a woman's first love. Women like to be a man's last romance. Sometimes people don't want to hear the truth because they don't want their illusions destroyed. If you want to change people, why not begin on yourself? That is a lot more profitable and a lot less dangerous. To be able to forget means sanity. The secret to success is to do the common things uncommonly well. Laws are like cobwebs which may catch small flies, but let wasps and hornets break through. Your enemies can kill you, but only your friends can hurt you. Never close your lips to those whom you have already opened your heart to. You can overcome bad habits only today, not tomorrow. To lead people, follow them. The first man gets the oyster. The second man gets the shell. It is better to make approximately correct decision than to make a precise mistake. Never compete with someone who has nothing to lose. Begin be bold and venture to be wise. Stupid is the man who always remains the same. If you're going to try, go all the way. Otherwise, don't even start. No woman or man really knows what perfect love is until they have been married a quarter of a century. The world belongs to the patient. Seek wisdom, not knowledge. Knowledge is of the past, wisdom is of the future. The only person with whom you have to compare ourselves is that you in the past, and the only person better you should be. This is who you are now. If a man knows more than others, he becomes lonely. Smart people learn from everything and everyone. Average people from their experiences. Stupid people already have all the answers. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. Things may come to those who wait, but only the things left by those who hustle. Success is stumbling from failure to failure, with no loss of enthusiasm. He who walks straight rarely falls. Nothing is particularly hard if you divide it into small jobs. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. What we do now echoes in eternity. If you can't do great things, Do small things in a great way. Don't wait for the right opportunity, create it. People willingly believe what they want to believe. The meaning of life is to give life meaning. You can hide memories, but you can't erase the history that produced them. Rules for happiness. Something to do, someone to love, something to hope for. A true woman loves a strong man because she knows his weaknesses. She protects as much as she is protected. Nature have given men one tongue, but 2 ears, that we may hear from others twice as much as we speak. When we give someone our time, we actually give a portion of our life that we will never take back. Fiction is the lie through which we tell the truth. Do not envy other people's good qualities, but instill them in yourself through admiration. Who of you, by worrying, can add a single hour to his life? Do not say a little in many words, but a great deal in a few. If you want to think done, well, do it yourself. The secret of genius is to carry the spirit of a child into old age, which means never losing your enthusiasm. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Gardens are not made by singing, "Oh, how beautiful," and sitting in the shade. Never was anything great achieved without danger. The most exquisite pleasure is giving pleasure to others. We stopped looking for monsters under our bed when we realized that they were inside us. Good people do not need laws to tell them to act responsibly, while bad people will find a way around the laws. What one man calls God, another calls the laws of physics. Death does not concern us, because as long as we exist, death is not here, and when it does come, we no longer exist. I would rather be a swineherd, understood by the swine, than a poet misunderstood by men. It is nothing to die, it is frightful not to live. Nonviolence is a weapon of the strong. What we learn from history is that no one learns from history. True love begins when nothing is looked for in return. Who dares nothing needs hope for nothing. No matter how thin you slice it, there will always be two sides. Victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win. Love your enemies, for they tell you your faults. Believe nothing you hear, and only a half that you see. Keep your fears to yourself, but share your courage with others. If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable. Lead from the back, and let others believe they are in front. Wealth is like seawater. The more we drink, the thirstier we become. And the same is true of fame. If a woman is angry, it means she is not only wrong, but also she knows it. Love is an irresistible desire, to be irresistibly desired. Learning to let go should be learned from learning to get. Real men despise battle, but will never run from it. We live in an age when unnecessary things are our only necessities. He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. Knowledge isn't power until it is applied. How much money does it take to make a man happy? Just one more dollar. To be angry is to take revenge on oneself for the mistakes of others. Any man can make mistakes, but only an idiot persists in his error. Ask no questions and you'll be told no lies. It is better to light one small candle than to curse the darkness. He who is satisfied with his lot is rich. Do more, the race is won by the horse that outstrips its rivals by a head. If each of us sweeps right under our feet, the whole world will be clean. A wise man gets more use from his enemies than a fool from his friends. Wisdom is not wisdom when it is derived from books alone. An explained joke is no longer a joke. The shortest distance between 2 points is often unbearable. Courage is resistance to fear. Mastery of fear, not absence of fear. Do not shake the green apple tree. When the apple is ripe, it will fall down by itself. It does not require many words to speak the truth. Before you diagnose yourself with depression, low self-esteem, first make sure that you are not in fact just surrounded by holes. Thinking is difficult. That's why most people judge. The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. If you're going through hell, keep going. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. Courage is not having the strength to go on. It is going on when you don't have the strength. Do every act of your life as though it were the very last act of your life. The man who does more than he is paid for will soon be paid for more than he does. People who say it cannot be done should not interrupt those who are doing it. A profession should initially be an act of love, and not a marriage of convenience. Women make even the men more sophisticated. Above all things, never be afraid. The enemy who forces you to retreat is himself afraid of you at that very moment. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Fortune accompanies the brave. Genius is a mind that knows its limits. Drop by drop is the water pot filled. Likewise, the wise man, gathering it little by little, fills himself with good. So when everything, do to others what you would have them do to you. Do not chase after happiness, it is always in you. The best way to keep one's word is not to give it. Experience is not what happens to a man, it is what a man does with what happens to him. What is a friend? A single soul dwelling in two bodies. He travels the fastest who travels alone. It is better to act and repent than not to act and regret. Trying to forget someone means remembering him all the time. There is nothing more unbearable than idleness. There is truth in wine and children. The hard work of the future will be pushing buttons. The art of living well and the art of dying well are one. Live your life as an exclamation rather than an explanation. Nothing makes a man so adventurous as an empty pocket. The future depends on what you do today. The time for action is now. It's never too late to do something. Only he who controls himself is free. If you want the present to be different from the past, study the past. To know your enemy, you must become your enemy. Well done is better than well said. A friend is a gift you give yourself. Life is like a play. It's not the length, but the excellence of the acting that matters. A winner is a dreamer who never gives up. He who does not like loneliness does not like freedom. Anything you can settle with money is cheap. You don't have to burn books to destroy a culture. Just get people to stop reading them. The one charm of the past is that it is in the past. Develop success from failures. Discouragement and failure are two of the surest stepping stones to success. The lie flies and the truth limps after it. In times of war, the law falls silent. Respect yourself and others will respect you. No man becomes rich unless he enriches others. Without courage, wisdom bears no fruit. Manage your mood, because if it does not obey, then it commands. To give out someone else's secret is betrayal. To give out yours is stupidity. We must bring our own light to the darkness. When in doubt, tell the truth. Don't let yesterday use up too much of today. The best is always the enemy of the good. Children learn by an adult's example, not by their words. First think, second believe, third dream, and finally dare. A clever person solves a problem. A wise person avoids it. The thing you think about determines the quality of your mind. Most so-called failures are only temporary defeats. Life is about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. Men cheat because they don't feel needed. Women because they don't feel loved. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Often, the lies that are believed become the truth. In order to understand the world, one has to turn away from it on occasion. All that we are is the result of our thoughts. Do not judge, or you too will be judged. Be equally indifferent to blame and praise. Men are moved by two levers only, fear and self-interest. Never put off till tomorrow the fun you can have today. To lead an orchestra, you must turn your back on the crowd. Learn first, teach later. He who builds on the people builds on the mud. Marrying is not at all difficult. It is difficult to be married. Treat your parents as you would like your children to treat you. Intuition is something that is ahead of accurate knowledge. A man is but the product of his thoughts. What he thinks he becomes. What Paul says about Peter tells us more about Paul than about Peter. Even the finest sword plunged into salt water will eventually rust. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. The saints are the sinners who keep on trying. Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Intellect is invisible to the man who has none. You may turn into an archangel, a fool, or a criminal. No one will see it, but when a button is missing, everyone sees that. Anything you dream is fiction, and anything you accomplish is science. The whole history of mankind is nothing but science fiction. Women are meant to be loved, not to be understood. Do the hard jobs first. The easy jobs will take care of themselves. Live every day as your last, because one of these days it will be. The greatest victory is victory over yourself. Control your finances, or lack of them will control you. Out of your vulnerabilities will come your strength. If a man is as wise as a serpent, he can afford to be as harmless as a dove. Rule your mind, or it will rule you. You are what you do, not what you say you'll do. Any fool can know the point is to understand. Receive without conceit, release without struggle. Progress is impossible without change. No man is free who is not a master of himself. Much is expected from that to whom much is given. Since we're all going to die, it's obvious that when and how don't matter. Do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. Do not look back when leaving. 10 people who speak make more noise than 10,000 who are silent. The fact that people do not learn from the mistakes of history is the most important lesson of history. People, in essence, do not grow up, they only get old. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. The world is boring for boring people. The secret to being creative alone. Ideas are born in loneliness. No gains without pains. Compromise is the best and cheapest lawyer. We learn not in school, but in life. A man only begins to be valued when he is no longer there. When they give you lined paper, write the other way. You can never be overdressed or overeducated. Smile today is the tomorrow you worried about yesterday. No wise man ever wished to be younger. A truth is not hard to kill. A lie told well is immortal. Recognizing a problem is half the success in solving it. You are not what happened to you. You are what you chose to become. Problems cannot be solved with the same level of thinking that created them. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. Those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. It is unrealistic to expect people to see you as you see yourself. A donkey loaded with gold will open the gates of any fortress. Only those who can afford not to lie are free. He can do anything who thinks that he can do anything. Above all things, respect yourself. Give a man power, and you will find out who he is. He who is to be a good ruler must have first been ruled. Life's biggest tragedy is that we get old too soon, and wise too late. To be everywhere is to be nowhere. One can always be kind to people about whom one cares nothing. Keep busy. It's the cheapest kind of medicine there is on this earth, and one of the best. Nothing costs so much in life as illness, and ignoring an illness. Genius is 1% talent and 99% hard work. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. When someone betrays you, it's because it is a reflection of their character, not yours. A fool is known by his speech, and a wise man by silence. Throw off your worries when you throw off your clothes at night. One today is worth 2 tomorrows. Our thoughts make us what we are. If you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or things. Difficulty shows what men are. True love never has a happy ending, because there is no ending to true love. If you cannot have a faithful friend, be your own friend. Great men are meteors designed to burn so that earth may be lighted. Laziness travels so slowly that poverty soon overtakes him. Other people's stupidity never makes us smart. Genius lies in the ability to distinguish the difficult from the impossible. A lie can travel halfway around the world, while the truth is putting its shoes on.